Hi, good morning. I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. I also hope that you're able to make use of our current less than ideal situation to continue to apply yourself to your studies. Again, I want to emphasize that we should also think of our cause here as a community, that you can reach out for support should you be facing any challenges and difficulties. Don't be shy to ask me or your classmates for suggestions and help. More importantly, we should count ourselves very lucky that we're able to continue to study in this difficult period. What I hope we will also be doing is to reflect on how our course of study can be related to our current situation and explore new ways of thinking about the significance of cultural work in this new normal. Today, I want to share with you in this short video on strategies in reading. Typically, each week, besides our sharing and discussion on Padlet, there are also the lectures that I've recorded and shared with you, and a folder of assigned readings that you're able to find in the link to the Google Drive that I've shared on Padlet. These readings are selected for the purpose of enriching your understanding on a particular topic in our course, to give you a taste of what different scholars are thinking about. Because we only meet once a week, it is expected that you spend the rest of your time reading and thinking about the week's topic. Often, students comment that academic articles are not easy to understand. The arguments are long and complex, and sometimes they are very difficult to follow. There are a number of reading strategies that you can actually find online, but I think I'm trying to give a summary of them. And it is important to remember that perseverance is key. The first thing you want to do when you have the readings in front of you is to begin by scheming strategically to identify the main argument or idea in the assigned text. This can be found in the abstract, the introduction, and the conclusion. These sections are also worth rereading a second time uh, when you briefly skim through them. More importantly, they should be read together. While the conclusion is often assumed to be a repetition of the introduction and the abstract, paying close attention to it is important because the author may rephrase a key point that could make the argument clearer to you. It might also be the section where the author discusses unanswered questions. This makes the conclusion extremely useful to skim through alongside the abstract and introduction, for it will help you to formulate a written reflection in your own words. After this, try giving the entire article a quick read to understand the article's organization or how it is structured, or what we call the architecture of the article. Here, you might want to pay attention to how arguments are constructed. What sources are used? What is the method that is being employed to obtain the sources? What are the theories that the article uses to interpret these sources? Also, you can pay attention to the section headings. At this stage, you might want to take notes. Sometimes it is useful to draw out a concept map or even create a simple drawing uh, as visual aids to help you remember certain ideas. For we know that sometimes visual records actually help us to remember certain things better. When this, when with this understanding of the, with this understanding, you can then approach to try to capture what the main point of the article is as you go through the article in detail. What you want to decide is which part of the article deserves most of your thinking energy and where you can quickly skim through. You should also be aware of what the main point of the course is and learn to connect the reading of the text to the main topic of the course for the week and also the main objectives of the course itself. Once you've done your readings, you're now prepared to reflect what you have learned for the purpose of a discussion or a written reflection. It is important to remember that you're not asked to summarize the readings. A mistake that is often made is that students write summaries that are so general that it doesn't capture the argument of the author or what you find interesting and useful in the article. And in this mistaken form of a literature review, what happens is you offer a view or a summary that is so general that other people would have come to the same conclusion. It is a given and stated fact. There is no new ideas that is being introduced through your reflection or your participation in the discussion. To engage in a discussion, you need to identify the key arguments that pushes you to think about the topic further. This is where reading not just one article per week is important. And that is why we give you a selection of articles. Try to connect the text you are reading to other selected texts in the week's assigned readings in relation to the topic of the week. How do all the assigned readings relate to one another? What do they tell you about the week's topic? How does a text show you a point of view that is different from another text? How do the methodologies differ? How do different theoretical framings of a particular research offer you different interpretive strategies that sheds light on new ways of thinking about the week's topic? Lastly, more importantly, is how do they connect to other things you have experienced and come across or read elsewhere? A good exercise is for you to set yourself the challenge of keeping a reading diary and limit yourself to reviewing each text to about 100 to a maximum of 200 words. And this is a creative challenge because it forces you to contain a very long, what you have read, all the information that you've absorbed from a very long article into a very short paragraph. Again, do not write down a general summary. Reflection and analysis are key points here. More importantly, every reading exercise is also a social experience. After you have read something, write down your reflection, thought about it further, connect it with experiences and things that you have come across elsewhere. You can create a video or an audio recording or a drawing or a mind map or a written post on Padlet and share it in our tutorial response tab on Padlet. Discuss your questions, seek clarification, and share your ideas. But you should also help your friends when they ask questions. Understanding comes from discussing things together. Remember that reading academic writing means you're participating in a conversation. As a general rule in our discussion, whether you are asking a question or making a point, it is good practice to cite relevant passages or sections of the text that inspired you to participate in the discussion. It is also always helpful to cite the shortened title of the article, the name of the author, and the page or section you are referring to. This helps us to go back to the text to see where you're coming from. Therefore, it is worth putting in a bit of effort to also read around the text. You can Google the author, find out more about their area of expertise, and do some surfing online to better understand how the assigned reading is connected to a larger conversation. To do so, it might also be helpful to list down certain keywords and commit them to memory. This will allow you to participate more effectively in our tutorial conversations. Let's try to slowly ease ourselves into this method of close reading over the semester, starting from this week. In tutorials, I hope that over time, when you share your thoughts and opinions, try to connect them to the arguments made in the readings. Don't forget, you're also welcome to disagree. Disagreeing is part of a healthy academic culture that challenges us to think. Disagreeing should, however, be done in a supportive and generous manner. This method of learning will make our classroom a safe space for everyone to speak freely.